What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Cherokee coming back live at you from the Cherokee Edwards Inspires. And due to special requests, everybody wanted to hear about this couple, this crazy loving couple. Been together 17 years, been married 15 years. I don't know how she put up with me. It's not exactly the Will and Jada or Jay-Z and Beyonce, but we do our thing. And no drama, but we probably don't have the followers they have. But let's go ahead and chop it up with the people. So I gotta introduce my queen. She is a nail extraordinaire, the queen of SeaTac Vacations, the model, the trainer, and just an all-around. She's a beautiful queen, and she's what keeps the engine running. Jamise Edwards, how you doing, sweetheart?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Oh, it is what it is. We gotta tell the truth. You make everything run. So people have been asking me, to do a show with us talking about our relationship. Now, we're going to probably talk a little bit about the business, obviously, because there's couples out there, they're going through the pandemic just like you and I are going through the pandemic. But I don't believe that they're going through the pandemic like we're going through the pandemic, right?
Right.
So, I guess we're going to open up the book to the Edwards lifestyle, and what makes us tick. Just conversate, I guess, a little bit.
Okay.
Why don't we start off since it's the beginning? Let's talk about the beginning. First of all, Jamise, tell the ladies out there and the gentlemen how you chose me and what you look for in a mate.
Okay. Well, first, I just have to say again, thank you for such an amazing opening.
Thank you.
And I just want everyone out there to know that all the things he said about me, I feel the exact same way about him. He's wonderful, not that hard to put up with. I'm saying that because we're on because we're live.
Air
No,
quotes.
just joking.
Air quotes.
But an amazing man, and I enjoy every moment with him. I just pray and hope for other people to have that same experience because it's not easy to find. And when you find it, you got to keep it and hang on to it. So, as far as how I chose you,
I guess what do you look for? I mean, what?
look for.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna ask you the
Yeah.
questions that I asked 17 years ago.
Mhm.
What do you like in a man, and what did you see in me that you said, okay, maybe this is the guy?
So the first thing that you have to do is not have a list of things that you look for in a person. You can't go in with a list saying I need them to be this complexion, this height, I need him to do this, that, or the other, because you already have set yourself back. You've already kind of put yourself out of the running for finding someone good. I always I guess you could say I learned to invest in myself, pay more attention to what I've liked and wanted to do. Because once you know yourself, you know what you're looking for. And I didn't realize that
Right.
until I met you. So um, I would just say your personality is what did it, or a person's personality, because you want someone that makes you smile, someone that makes you laugh, someone that listens to you. Those things are important because looks fade and things get old.
Hey.
But that's important because you have to have laughter. You do.
Right.
It's hard to make it through hard times if you don't have something to smile about.
Right.
So that's one of the key things there. The looks are important too because I have to look at you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Ladies, we got to look at the men, so you got to have something good to look at. But when it's all said and done, just someone that you know will be there for you, someone you know that will have your back, will make sure you have everything you need because it's easy for us to do it because we're nurturers. So you got to have a man that's willing to do that for you. That's
Yeah.
the best I can give for that.
Well, I mean, it's a great start, segue. And as far as on the male side, guys, what I look for in ladies, what I saw in Jamise when I first met her was the class that she exuded. And those of you that know Jamise, you know what I'm talking about. And you know Millie, you know her as Millie's World of Nails, and you fall in love with her as soon as you meet her. And the physical beauty is there, obviously. but her inner beauty makes her radiant. And I think that when I looked at you, I saw somebody beyond just dating, and it's amazing for me to say that, because when I met you 17 years ago, I'm not even going to lie, I was a player. I looked for short relationships. I didn't really trust women. I wasn't big on that. You know, my mother was my queen, and she had passed away 2 years prior to meeting you. And I just refused to let people get but so close to me, simply because I kept losing people, and I kept feeling like everybody that I was close to was leaving. I had best friends be killed graduation night. I had girlfriends that did what they were doing. They had kids by other guys, and I pretty much try to pick up the slack, and relationships didn't go too well. Me and the girl broke up. Then of course she took the child away from me as well. you know so I started really thinking that it would be amazing to find a beautiful, fun woman that I could actually build something with. I think that I was blessed to have some things when we met, but the greatest thing was, you didn't meet me getting out of a car. You didn't see the awards and recognition or anything that came with me. And I think that meant the world to me, because so many females that have been introduced to me or that I met them that way, where they saw things maybe a little too early, and I wasn't sure if they wanted me for me or they wanted me for the facade and what they saw, with the awards and recognition. So, I remember we became close, but I'm gonna tell a little bit of the story so people can get on this. You know, I was all right, guys. I was at work, because most of the women, that I ever talked to, I almost, I didn't have time. I was always at work, so it was either somebody I was dating at work, or somebody brought somebody to meet me or something, right? Well, anyway, one day I was sitting in my manager's office. I was at the resorts at this time, and Jamise came in with her girlfriend, her best friend at the time, and she came and took a tour. And a friend of mine that I really respected, him and his wife and his relationship, and he was a really good guy for me to look up to. He came running into the office and he says, "Where's Cherokee? Where's Cherokee?" And of course, I'm sitting there. So I'm like, "What's wrong with you, man? What's going on?" Well, I got to say this, guys. Everybody used to come to me and say, "Man, you got to see this girl. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful. She's fine. She's right up your alley." So I'm used to that. But Larry, and I know I'm giving you a shout out, Larry. Larry said to me, "I just met your wife and she's coming up the elevator as we speak. Come here." So, of course, by it being said that way, I'm like, "What?" I mean, nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said I met your wife. So I'm sitting there saying, "Okay, I gotta see this woman. If you're talking about my wife now, we weren't even talking about dating nobody. You talking about a wife." So I came out and I saw you with Keisha and Jim McCumbie, which is a co-worker of mine. And you guys were on tour, and you had your back to me, but kind of sideways. And I swear, to be honest with you guys, the first thing I always look at a woman from the feet up. So she had these beautiful boots on, and I could tell she had nylons on, which I love, by the way. I love women in nylons and when it's cold. I guess because I'm a northerner, and I got to see all these different styles and fashion of nylons, and I'm kind of old school with that. But I love classy women, I always have. So she stood elegantly, and beautiful hair down her, coming over her shoulders, and she had a beautiful sweater on, and she just looked amazing. And for the first time, I really looked at her and not just said to myself, "Oh yeah, this would be a nice date for me," but I said, "You know what? I really want to meet this girl." So Jim was walking down the hall, taking him to his office, and I whispered to him. I said, "Jim, Jim," and I'm trying to do this in a way where you didn't see it. Obviously, I'm being slick. And he looks back at me, and I'm gonna say this on the air because you guys can't see my emotions or anything, but I'm saying, "Jim, introduce me. Jim, introduce me." So he says, "All right, I got you." He did one of those quiet "I got you" things, right? So we laugh. I'll go back in the office, and I'm trying to wait, and I'm getting antsy because I might have to go out on tour, go to, and tour another family, the property. Now, if I did that, I would have missed her. I would have missed out on her because one thing about me, I'm extremely professional. If I'm on tour with that family, I'm not going to stop to do anything else. I'm just going to do what I do. So I did what we call skating. Skating means I was trying to avoid taking a tour. I was actually getting lost for a while, right? Jim comes back in the office and he tells me, he said, man, don't worry. I won't have him long because her parents own here. She's down here using her parents' membership. Right? So I said, okay, all right, cool. So they get done with the tour and Jim goes and looks for me, and I'm so busy skating. I'm walking around the building. I come up the east side of the building. He's looking for me in the west side at my office where I normally would be, and I'm not there, right? Jamise and Keisha, her girlfriend, were sitting at the elevator, and here I come walking up the back end of the hallway, and I walk smack dab into him. And when I tell you, it was almost an awkward situation. If they knew what I was doing, I was the only one that knew what I was doing. So it was something where, hey, you better walk up on her and you better have some confidence. And again, I wasn't too shallow on that end. I had pretty good confidence. So I walked up, spoke to her, and I said, hello, how you doing? And she said hi, and Keisha said hi. Right. Then I said, what's your name? So he said, oh, my name is Keisha, and I'm Jamise. And I said, oh, okay. Well, my name is Cherokee Edwards. How you doing? And Jamise, you said what?
I said, Cherokee? Wait a minute. My family knows someone named Cherokee.
Right.
Like, yeah, they put a timeshare from him.
Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those times my mom says, oh, okay, you better be good at whatever you do because nobody's going to get you confused and say, hey, is Cherokee here? And somebody say, which one? Mm-hmm. So that was kind of funny. Hold that thought. We will be right back. We needed a station identification break, and we will be back to continue that story. Give me a moment.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Cherokee Edwards podcast. And I am joined here with my lovely wife and queen, Jamise Edwards, as well.
Yes, I am here. Do y'all hear this guy's memory? His memory is amazing. He remembers all the details. I'm sitting here just reliving the moment as you're talking. I can see everything. Okay, go ahead.
Well, you always remember either something really good or something really bad. And that's, and my memory is one thing that hasn't left me. So, but back to that story. So I walk up and I explain, I say hi and we exchange names, and she tells me, she says, my mom has you as a representative. So I'm saying, whoa, right? Because I'm usually really close with the families that bought from me. So I say, well, what's your parents' name? What's your family's name? And she said, Chambliss. And I said, what? She said, yeah, Wanda Chambliss and Robert Chambliss. I said, oh my God, I call her mom. So I'm like all excited because I already won over the family. 3 years, y'all. Seriously, 3 years before I met my wife, I met her mom and dad. So this was amazing for this to happen, because usually you already win over the girl and you got to win over the parents. Well, in this case, it was the reverse. I already had the parents close to me. Now it's time for me to win the girl. So I said, we're standing at the elevator. So I said, hey, would you like to go to dinner with me? We could, go to dinner and talk and this, that, and the other. So she says, well, I can't do it right now because I'm down here celebrating my brother and sister's birthday. So I say, oh my God, I'm close to the kids too, because they were with the parents when they bought from me. Right. The only person that wasn't there was Jamise. Mm-hmm. So I said, well, I'll take you and Derek and Michelle out, the brother and sister out. Right. So she said, well, you don't understand. It's not just me, Keisha, and them two. We had what was it? Seven of you guys.
It's not a good time because there's 7 of us. I would feel so bad.
Woo! And where were we going to eat?
Captain George's.
So she gave me a way out, guys. She actually gave me a way out. She was like, well, maybe I'll take your number and later I'll come down and we can go hang out. But I didn't want that to slip past because it's one of those situations where you say, you know what? You got to strike while the iron's hot. So I said, look, I'll take everybody out, my treat. And then those of you that know about Captain George's, you know that it's a $30 minimum per person. So already, you're over $200, almost $300 just in food for the first type of date. I mean, woo. And here's the funny thing. Nothing's gonna happen after this date because there's too many people there. So you just on the way out on that. But the funny thing was, we went to go eat, and we didn't want the night to end, so we ended up going bowling right after we ate. And of course, I paid for everybody to go bowling, because like I said, I want to say this to you guys. When you love someone, and I didn't realize it was happening that early, but when you love someone, money means absolutely nothing to you. It means absolutely nothing. It's not about the money. It's what the money can do for people that you love. And I thank God every day for being in a position to do this, because when we went from Captain George's, went across the street, or down the street, to the bowling alley, and we bowled for hours. I had to buy you socks because you had the nylons on it, which was nice, but you needed some socks. So we bowled and we took a picture that night. And I still have that picture on my desk right now today. And when people look at it, they swore we were together forever. And we looked at it, and it really did look like we had been together forever. And that was the very first night we ever laid eyes on each other. Yeah. And that's 17 years ago. Amazing. So, I mean, when I tell you guys, we came so close, and they came over to the house the next morning, and we watched Barbershop. And
this memory.
Hey, that was probably the most important weekend of my life, seriously, because I was actually lonely, and I didn't realize I was lonely. My mother had just left me. She had just gone to glory a couple years prior, and I just wasn't complete, and I know that, but I didn't realize it truly until we met. And we became best friends. I mean, we started talking every day for hours and hours at a time. And she lived in Richmond. I live here in Williamsburg. And, we didn't let days go by without talking for hours. Even after, when you're at work at times, we would talk. And then I would send these flowers. And I just wanted to make this good impression. Yes. Our first date by herself. Right. You want to tell them, or you want me to tell them?
It was at your friend's house for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I remembered something.
Yes.
He's making me look bad.
Tampa Bay and the Raiders.
Yes. Yeah. And he came all the way up to Richmond, picked me up, and brought me all the way back down to Williamsburg for the Super Bowl. We had an amazing time.
It was beautiful. Fun. Crazy part, guys, was the next day I was going on a cruise for, with a family that I love tremendously. That I call them Mom and Dad Vanderpools. And they took me on my first cruise I ever went to. And believe it or not, I went by myself, because how am I going to ask Janice, when I just met her, to go on a week-long cruise? That might have been really awkward. Yeah. So we talked about that. And then that next day, I had to fly out. And once that was a week-long cruise. We come back, we saw each other, and the next day, I flew out to President's Club. Right. To Cabo San Lucas. So I'm sitting there saying, man, this is not going to work. She's going to forget all about me, because and I got to tell you guys the truth about this story. I had a girl, so-called friend at the time, and things weren't exactly what they should be. And it got exclamation marked because I met Jamie. So the whole week I was there on President's Club, I'm thinking about her. And it was amazing, because when I came back from Cabo, I'm in the airport and turn on my phone. And the first message on my phone was, how about I'm missing you? And it's her. So I get super excited, go straight to her house. And I mean, we were inseparable basically since that time. Yeah, and it was 2003. And it was, January really of 2003. Right. And then the President's Club was February of 2003. And February 9th became the magic date for us. And we celebrated anniversaries every month on the 9th of every single month for the rest of our lives together until we got married February 9th of 2005.
Right.
So
Yeah.
so that, I mean, I guess that's the bringing them up to speed on our relationship, on how we got together. And then now let's talk a little bit about how we weather storms.
Okay.
Because obviously, you know, we love each other tremendously, but things weren't always perfect. We had some ups and downs and trials, and not,
Right.
you know, something, not always by our design, but sometimes it's by other people getting too close or getting involved in things.
Right.
And like you said, our heart was so big, and we've been through a lot, you know.
We definitely have.
You want to talk about it? Any of it?
I-
We don't need to go in
Not
detail.
detail,
We can just
but-
talk about how we weathered storms. Let's talk about that.
But because of a promise we made to each other that we would never go to bed angry,
Yes.
that's something that we've always kept, and I believe it's a very good thing to do because you don't want to build a separation, build a wall
Yes.
between each other. So no matter what it is, and like we always say, we may not like each other at certain times, but we always love each other.
Yes.
And you know, you just don't go to bed mad. You at least come to some type of agreement, some type of mellow ground that you can kind of tolerate. And then you talk about it later if you need to, but that's one of the things that we do.
Yes.
And just make sure you talk and communicate.
Yes. One thing I think is great, and I don't know how we managed this or you managed it, because your personality is just flawless. I'm the one that needs some work.
Oh
sometimes.
gosh.
But you know, I gotta tell you guys out there, she never made me sleep on the couch, and she's never slept on the couch. We've for 15 years. I can't say 17, because one thing I am going to make sure, if there's any young couples listening to us right now, right? We did not believe in living together before we got married.
Right.
Now, we spend weekends together. She would come down and spend weekends. I even gave her a key, and she did not move into my house until our wedding night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you know, and we were laughing about this just earlier this morning, but I said one of the most precious things for me in the 2 years we were dating is I always looked forward to the weekends because I knew she was going to come down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that would have been kind of out the window if we lived together for those 2 years and then got married. That's what I'm thinking.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
because that was exciting for us. Friday nights were exciting because you were going to come down after work,
right,
and we were going to be together until Monday morning.
Mm-hmm.
So
exciting, it did.
Yeah, it was like Christmas every weekend. So it's like, and like I said, like we were saying, guys, is nothing is perfect, but the relationship is so beautiful. We never cuss at each other. I might say a couple F-bombs and some other words, right? But I don't say them directed at her. I never call her out her name. And I know I got to say this as a male because generally males are aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also an alpha male. But when it comes to you, you know, you're my queen. And the world knows that knows us. But I just, you know, we just talk. And no matter how bad things are, and things, you know, have gotten bad at times where we were worried about each other,
Mm-hmm.
and we just pull through.
Yeah.
You know, we pray together, we play together, and we stay together.
That's right.
You know, so it's just, and as for business, well, she's always been my backbone. For when we got together, she would get right behind me and push and work on the admin part as we were starting to develop a company and develop a business. So when we got married in 2005, she started to really learn how the bills work in the house. She started learning how I work with my clients. She started jumping in and making sure she was following up with them and sending things out for me. Build a team. We built a very strong team that was able to be relied upon. And this was amazing. So, you know, I mean, we could talk for hours about this, guys. I mean, we're not going to talk too long about it. We may get back on and do it again at some point. But I think it's important that they know, how did we build 3 living entities together?
Just, oh my gosh. Well, first, it's because of how your drive is. It's your drive and your push and your inspiration. Because honestly, I will back you up with everything. But personally, I don't have that drive and motivation to push and actually start something. But once you get me going, I'm there.
Oh, yeah.
So I would definitely say that alone did it. But just the belief that you never stop, You never allow us to quit. And you just don't settle and take no for an answer. So when you want something, you go for it. And I love that about you.
I appreciate that.
I love that. So I'm definitely going to have your back with whatever it is. And just taking advantage of a situation, like you said, there's things going on, and it may stop one thing, but then you got to think and do something else because you can't sit stagnant. And I believe that's how we started that, kind of reached in and found some other passions and gifts that you have and just kept made away,
putting it together. And I will say this, guys out there, guys, you can't build a business without a queen to back you. And I'm going to say this, especially minorities, we have to work incredibly hard. And I don't want to make any excuses, and I don't want you to make any excuses, but I will say this: you cannot build things by yourself, that especially if they're going to be special. You have to have the right woman behind you, and women, you have to have the right man behind you.
I was gonna say that.
You know, it takes that, doesn't it?
It does. You gotta have the support and the structure.
When the why is great enough, the facts don't matter, and you have to be each other's why. Jamise and I don't have any biological kids, but we sponsored over 100 children, and we've got tons of surrogate children that we love.
Right.
And I get just as mad as if I or excited for them as if we gave birth to them.
Absolutely.
We do have 4 fur babies, and we have fish, but the thing is that when it comes to business, it's not really a lot of work for us because we enjoy being around each other. And back to that pandemic thing, that's what brings this to mind. We don't look at this pandemic the way normal people do because we're always around each other anyway. And when we're each other's best friends. So the whole thing is we'd rather be in the house and self-contained, you know, while this plague runs through.
Right.
You know, we want to keep each other safe. And even if the pandemic wasn't here, we would still want to protect each other, and we still love to spend time with each other. Yeah, we'll go out and go different places, you know, without each other at times. We're sitting in my gym now. You know, I'll work out a couple hours a day, and I have my time to myself. You'll be upstairs, and the nail tech. I gotta speak on this before this thing is over with. My wife has been a spectacular nail artist for more than 25 years. I've been with her for 17 years, and I've watched it every week of our lives together. And here's that support. Our job is to visually see a gift that our spouse and our loved one has and start to help cultivate that the same way she did for me, help motivate her. That's all I did, guys. I didn't do anything other than become her cheerleader, her number one cheerleader, and help with numbers. That's it. But when I tell you, you got to go to Millie's World of Nails, everybody. You have to go to Millie's World of Nails. Look at her online. Look at what she's done. Look at the artistry. And anybody that's on here listening that is part of our nail family, you can attest to it. Your reviews are awesome and spectacular. And thank you from the bottom of our hearts for referring her and being loyal to her. This is a very big thing in our community that we need to do, is we need to become more loyal to each other.
Yeah.
We need to help each other out. But she's built a beautiful business, and right here at home, everybody's pretty safe, and we've taken all precautions to make sure everybody's good, you know. And we love you guys for that, because she only takes referrals. She doesn't take walk-ins, and that's a beautiful thing. And I told her she didn't have to, because we'll still have the other businesses. Right. But this is a baby that is flourishing. So thank you.
And again, I owe that to you, because you stayed on me all these years. You stayed on me, and you didn't give up to help nurture this budding gift. So I appreciate that.
Well, it's easy. And I mean, it really is. And ladies and gentlemen, look in each other's eyes and know that there's something that you do better than anybody else on earth. It is something, and you need to find that. And once you find that, believe me, all this negative stuff that you see in the world, it'll actually subside to you. Now, that's not to say that it goes away. There's racism, there's a lot of hate, and there's a pandemic going on. But I promise you, I want to challenge you. Look in the faces of these people that you see as being racist, and I promise you, their life is miserable. Now I want you to look at people that you see that are doing well. And I'm not talking about financially. I'm not talking about just money-wise, but I'm talking about they love who they're around. And you will see they don't have room for hatred because they're too busy loving each other. All right? So that's about our time. And I mean, if you want to say something to the people.
I just want to say thank you again for everything, all your support. Continue to support my husband. He's doing great things, and I want you all to grow and just be the best you can be. Thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome. We love you guys, and we'll check you out. All right. Peace. One love.